Hey, good evening, friends. This is take two, actually. I started out doing a recording painting a hummingbird larger than life. And I'll tell you, I just don't care for things when they're larger than life. So I looked around on copyright-free images today on a Facebook page and got some hummingbird images. And again, we started with this one. I don't like him. I mean, he just felt like a little fat guy. So instead, I cropped a different one. So that's what we're going to try now. All right, so you'll never see the other one. It's gone. That's such as painting, right? All right, we're just mixing up something dark, and we'll see if we can get him sketched on. I did leave a couple flowers up here on the edge, kind of, which I thought worked well. Tail goes to about there. I've done a lot of birds, but I have to say I haven't done a lot of hummingbirds, so. But I felt inspired to do one. We're just, again, well, I didn't say it, but we're working in acrylics today. I've got my, if you're going to work in acrylics, I suggest you get a Masterson box, and there's a sponge they make you can put in the bottom, and then there's paper that you can buy that you wet and put in it. It's this. So your paints stay wet. If you're going to work in acrylics, I mean, it's challenging, so why not make it easier? So, and I use them for a lot of different things. I'm primarily an oil painter, but I like them for certain things, and the palette box is so nice. So if you don't work with one, I recommend you do if you're an acrylic painter. All right, let's see if our proportions seem about right. So he's a little bigger than life, but not too bad. That other one, I just didn't like him. And I should know better because I just find that I don't like things that are larger than life. All right, I'm going to work with a fairly big brush because I want to be loose. See how it goes. Hopefully I've got out all the paint I need. I'm not sure. Just starting with something dark. We're going to put the darks in that we see first. His eye seems to be kind of, it's a photo, so I'm sure it's in the right place. It just looks a little odd to me. Good thing about starting over is I got some paint on the canvas because I didn't tone. Got to be willing to let them go if you don't like them. You know, and that's happened. I know if you paint, you know, it's happened to me a lot. For whatever reason, sometimes you're just not feeling it. With acrylics, I do a lot of olive prima, but I try to, I layer and layer and layer. I don't know if you, I have taken a workshop with Patty Malika before. She's out of New York, and she works, I believe she's with Golden, and she uses a lot of paint in acrylics, and her stuff looks very much like oils. For myself, I find that I just layer and layer. So they just change and change and change, really. It has been so unbelievably hot here in Ohio the last few days. Um, Tonight is fireworks. We will walk over normally and see them, but we haven't decided if we're going yet tonight, if we can stand it. Working with a pretty big angled brush, and again, we'll see how long we can work with that. Maybe the whole time. When I went looking for photos, I was surprised how many kinds of hummingbirds there are. I'm in Ohio, and we have the ruby-throated hummingbirds, but I see some of them have pink on them. Pretty unusual, isn't it? I'm working with some of these are golden opens. Golden opens are a thinner, high pigmented paint. They're really, really wonderful. And some of these I think are Liquitex. The background on this one is mostly a gray. So I think we'll just go with that. So we'll just mix a bunch of colors here together and come up with a gray. But I'm going to want to vary the background, so we'll keep mixing up different ones. These little tiny feet I can see. That might be a little colorful. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining us. And I am mostly an oil painter, as you will see. I work in water mixable oils. I'm always saying they're just oils. I went out to lunch yesterday with a group of girls that I went to high school with. We meet once a month, and the one gal joined us for the first time, and she was saying, "Does anybody still work?" And they looked at me. Somebody pointed to me, and the gal said, which is typical, I find, of a lot of people. She said something like, "Yeah, but it's a hobby." A lot of people think of, no matter how hard you work at it, that it's a hobby. Um, I said, I love what I do. I suppose unless you're making a living at it, it's a hobby, right? I don't know. There are a lot of people that do make a living as an artist, but I treat it as a job. I work hard at it and trying to, I don't know, I'm always busy with it. It's what I do. But again, I just find that's an attitude with a lot of people. That's why I think they come to artists and ask them to donate their work and their time, and they don't think anything of that because what? We're just having fun, I guess. But you would never, come to an attorney and ask them to donate their time. Probably. I mean, there are some that do pro bono stuff, but you know what I mean? If you're an artist, you know what I mean. All right, let's look at that. That needs to come up a little bit. He's got little feet. A lot of times the wings look translucent, but I don't see that with this one. I have Cad Red Light out here, which should be pretty intense, but they make those radiant colors and oils. I don't know, if you're acrylic painter, you probably know better than me. Are there like iridescent colors and stuff? Actually, I'm remembering some small tubes I got one time that were considered iridescence, but they weren't colors. I think they were like silver and I'm going to zoom in there a little bit and see where his eye is. Let me get a little more black paint out here. One thing about the acrylics, if you get them on your clothes, man, they don't hardly come up off. Do you know a way to get them off? A while back I got, trying to think what I was wearing. I got red paint on this gray sweatshirt that I really liked. I ended up taking oil paint and painting gray over the red, and I let it dry a long time. You can't even see where it was, so there you go. This brush is not fine enough for what we're doing. If I got a little one here. No, I do not. If I could use a stylus to I'm sure I could dig out another brush, but I'm trying not to do that. Boy, it just won't come off that brush. I mean, off that tool. This is not the way to do this. Let's go back to that big old brush, see if we can get that to work. I may have to get out a little brush and do some cleaning up on things after we get off of here. I mean, we could come in thicker and bring the background in too. That's an option too. I feel like this is kind of lost. It's very light in the picture, but it's lighter than the background, so it stands out. So we may have to do something with that too. Again, this is probably not the right brush for this. I feel like that white's a little intense, maybe. Let me gray it down a little bit. What I don't have is a really vibrant red. When I mix my yellow with the red, I'm just not getting a real good saturated orange like I would like. And the cad red light's not doing it alone. I'm cleaning my brush to make sure that's not my problem. I'll start new, get some cad red light and some cad yellow. It's just not a great orange like it would be with oil paint. Just not that beautiful saturated color. I'll have to think about that. Kind of the best part of the hummingbird, isn't it? Put a little bit up here. Again, we're just playing with acrylics today. I'm not an acrylic painter, but I do, like I say, I do use them for certain projects. Well, it's about 25 minutes. That's pretty quick. I'm not sure. I feel like we need more paint on the background. Let's play around, get some, it just feels thin to me. I see kind of a striped pattern in the background. A little darker here. A little tip of white on his very end of his beak. I used to feed hummingbirds every year when we lived in another part of the state. I mean, they swarmed us. There were so many. I think maybe next year I'll put a feeder out again. I miss having them. But they were a commitment. There were so many that I kept buying bigger and bigger feeders. And if it was going to rain, they would swarm the feeders. They just, sometimes there'd be like 30 of them around. Well, like I said, I think I'm just gonna look at that for a while and decide. There's a little tip of white right there. All right, I'll put you in front of it, and the body's got some light on it too, and the tail. All right, let me put you in front of it and show you. The background's very thinly done, so I'll probably go over that again. I would like more paint on that. And with this being acrylic, you know, you can do oil over acrylic. So we'll see. I might even go over the background with some nice oil. I just find the oil so much easier to work with. All right. It was fun. I just thought let's play with some acrylics today. All right. Thank you for joining me, and like and subscribe if you haven't. Please do that. All right. And watch for me next time.